Wait on me, stay with me right in this bed. Tell me what he won't do so I can do it instead. I want you right now, I'm tired of you in my head. I want you right now, doing the things you said.
For almost 50 years now, ESPN has been a cultural staple. What started as a shoestring operation in Bristol, Connecticut, quickly became a money-printing machine throughout the 90s and 2000s. Of course, part of that was because before the internet, it was kind of the only place to see scores and highlights. You didn't really have a choice. But even still, it was a network that was filled with so many great personalities. People like Stuart Scott, who were just effortlessly cool and funny. They had this dry sense of humor that permeated in everything they made, and they really delivered on every part of the sports spectrum. Whether it was with legitimate, hard-hitting journalism on shows like Outside the Lines and E60, or a show like Cheap Seats, where the Sklar brothers would just riff over a bunch of weird-ass sporting events.
Bro, the old ESPN, I hate to be this guy, because like, have you ever heard like the older generation? They always be like, man, back then it was good, this is good again. But I can definitely say for the old ESPN, used to be so good. I was hooked to TV. I'm talking about from the morning when I was watching Mike and Mike in the morning, getting ready for school, to when I come back, when I get out of school, I'm seeing what happened on ESPN. I'm watching Pardon the Interruption, First Take, and even just the commentators. She's a beautiful one at number 9. Like from the ESPN type 10, from the top 10. It was a really good network. Yeah, Around the Horn. Thank you. Around the Horn. It was a really good network. And now it is a shell of itself because the popularity of First Take. At first, when First Take was around, we thought Skip Bayless was a problem. All Skip Bayless did was mask us or cover our eyes to how lame Stephen A. Smith really is. Because Skip Bayless jumped off the cliff. We thought he was bad. Until Stephen A. Smith slowly but surely became so important in ESPN to now he think he's bigger than the network. Bro, when I turn on ESPN, it's because they are the worldwide leader in sports. And at this moment, they got so many contracts. Like, they talk about everything I want to talk about. I don't necessarily tune in all the time for Stephen A. Smith, but he really think that it's all because of him.
Mary, it's a shame you'll have to die now.
For a long time, ESPN had a captive audience. They could have gotten complacent, but instead they chose to be creative. They took risks. They elevated the experience.
Man, y'all just take these analysts and TV personality too seriously. You don't. When you don't, you can just enjoy the shit for what it is now. No, that's not necessarily true. Let me tell you why. I want to know about what's currently going on in sports. I want to know about Anthony, let me think of, I was about to say Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards just went up against Phoenix and cooked him. Show me some of the plays that, these are the great plays. I don't want to hear about Stephen A. Smith beefing with the Pelicans. And he's a grown-ass man telling me he's more popular than the Pelicans. I'm not tripping. I'm literally not tripping. This is a grown-ass man telling me I'm more popular than every player on the team, excluding Zion. One thing that I don't want to do, I never want to bring up age in conversation because it gets very corny. But Stephen A. Smith, you 50-something talking about popularity. Who was that with the raid? Yo, Black! Thank you for the raid, bro. I appreciate you, bro. That's that. When I turn on ESPN, I don't want to hear that. And I don't think I'm tripping saying that. It's bad, and we're not overdoing it.
Of watching sports. But over the past decade, some cracks have started to form. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that ESPN sold its soul. And I don't just mean because they're owned by Disney. If they do have any influence, it's hard to tell because they're very subtle about it.
I'm just put it on. Damn.
Disneyland.
We're gonna go to Disney World. Disney World or Disneyland.
This is what you get at Disneyland.
The magic of Disney, the power of Disney, and the magic of Disney.
No, when I say they sold their soul, I mean this in two ways. One, they completely lost their on-screen identity, the thing that made them special to begin with. As the media landscape changes and the attention economy only gets more and more competitive, ESPN traded in its signature style of lighthearted, casual commentary for what is essentially a 24/7 rage bait.
Oh my, it really is.
He knows everything. You know what it's like.
An endless.
Yo, ESPN honestly at this point is dead ass 24/7 rage bait. It's including this. When they kept putting this on, I was like, I gotta go. He had some of the worst take, and then who the is that doggy guy? I'm like, bro, take Stephen A. What the get this old ass out of here. He sucks. Mad Dog sucks. He's just there to rage bait. I'm like, New York radio guy. Man, I ain't in New York, nigga. I'm in Texas. Get this nigga off my TV. I'm like, bro, this nigga suck, boy. And then this fucking guy. He is clearly on the Bills payroll. Clearly. Lamar got traded. Tell me if I'm wrong. One thing I like to say as a man, if I'm wrong, y'all can correct me. Lamar got traded. They traded for Max Crosby. This motherfucker telling me some no excuses for Lamar now. A defensive player, bitch. Zay Flowers keep going east and west and fumbling. Fuck is you talking about? What Max Crosby got to do with the O-line? What Max Crosby got to do with those receivers? It's literally non-stop rage bait.
You know what it's like.
An endless stream of hot takes and controversial opinions that are so frustrating to listen to, you can't help but react to it.
He's racist? No, I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I feel like, look, y'all know I just went on a pro-black rant real soon. I kind of think we throw that term around a little too much. He's heavily biased. I don't think Dan Osweiler is racist. He's heavily biased towards Josh Allen. He got this fucking bromance with this nigga. It's weird. It's weird, bro. Sorry, Dan Orlovsky, not Osweiler. Fuck that nigga. Dan Orlovsky. He got this weird ass bromance with Josh Allen, and now he tries to act like he's not pro Josh Allen, aka anti-Lamar. But when you just listen to what this nigga say, it's like, bro, you clearly got a bias. You're not on here to be unbiased. Like, you trying to fake it, but bro, if you just listen to this nigga, what are you talking about?
It's crazy. They spent decades building up a reputation only to burn it to the ground just so more people would comment on their YouTube shorts. The more nefarious way I think they've sold their soul is by being so financially tied to the leagues that they cover that they've lost the ability to be objective about them. This company that largely established itself on high quality journalism can't really do journalism anymore when the leagues they partner with don't allow them to be critical. There are no concussions in Ba Sing Se. I'll get into this more specifically in the second half of the video, but
This is actually a great point that I never really that I haven't really thought about. One of the best things about journalism is when you can unfold a story that they've been trying to hide. Like a Pablo with Kawhi right now that's going on. But ESPN, in a lot of ways, they don't try to do a lot of that groundbreaking journalism because the NFL, they got multi-billion-dollar contracts with the NFL at this moment. They're too tied in, and that's also some of the reasons of why we're not getting as good of a product as we would get back then.
Talk about both these problems because I think they go hand in hand. The big
Pablo a snitch. I'm sorry. Hey, bro, on some real nigga shit. Is Pablo snitching? Yes. Yeah, boy, he's snitching. If y'all don't know the story, basically, long story short, when Kawhi went from Toronto to the Clippers, they did some cheating shit. It's looking like they did some cheating shit. They gave Kawhi, let's say, $50 million. But they said, but what we gonna do on the side is we're gonna give you another $20 million, but we're gonna act like you sponsored for planting some trees. Now, is he snitching? Yes. But journalists snitch all the time. We need them. But also, too, that's for the greater good of the NBA if he exposes that. Because, bro, how the fuck is a team like Milwaukee going to ever compete? Cleveland going to ever compete? I don't want to say Oklahoma City because they just won a ring. That's like an anomaly. But Indiana going to ever compete when 9 times out of 10, the guys that buy the franchises in Los Angeles, New York, Miami, Houston, you're already paying top dollars for the franchises based off the cities that they're in. I mean, you got a good amount of money, and you paying niggas under the table. That's not good for the league all the way around. Get your money up, not your funny up. Houston, is Houston not the 4th biggest city in the world? I mean, not in the world, I'm sorry, in America right now. Is Houston not one of the fastest growing markets in America right now? Just because I'm from Houston, born and raised, I'm not being biased towards it. You got to relax, okay? Boom.
Change at ESPN started with what was technically pretty successful at the time. First Take with Stephen A. Smith.
Georgia better. That's how I know Houston, them niggas, y'all. This nigga just compared us to a whole state. Bro, just chill. It's not a competition, bro.
And Skip Bayless. Where the network had dipped their toes throughout the years in argument-centric television, First Take was a cannonball into the deep end.
Let's go back a little bit. Go back.
Journalism anymore when the leagues they partner with don't allow them to be critical. There are no concussions in Ba Sing Se. I'll get into this more specifically in the second half of the video, but I want to talk about both these problems because I think they go hand in hand. The big change at ESPN started with what was technically pretty successful at the time. First Take with Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless. Where the network had dipped their toes throughout the years in argument-centric television, First Take was a cannonball into the deep end. These two guys are gonna disagree with every word that comes out of their mouths. It doesn't matter what the topic is, they're gonna sit there and yell at each other for 2 hours straight, and it is gonna be a loud, messy car wreck you can't look away from.
Are you on donate it to charity? Are you on drugs?
Skip Bayless was not the first of his kind, but he's certainly one of the biggest. This archetype of a now staple character in the cable news landscape, the disagreeable oaf.
No. Yes.
The unhinged, bombastic moron who's only there to say dumb shit so everyone else can be like, did you hear what he just said? What is he, some kind of oaf?
Relax.
No.
It's almost the sports equivalent of hiring a clown. You know, like if you hit...
Man, Skip a legend. Fuck y'all. Listen, Colin, one of my favorite things to say in life, because it really is 2 things can be true. What Skip Bayless did for sports commentary or for ESPN was real legendary because it got a lot of us to want to come in and watch the network. But we can also acknowledge what he did was very harmful because he spawned, not just him, but Stephen A. Smith, a bunch of people that might not be as talented as them, but they want to try to be all out of there and just got the most random takes. That's how you get a Acho, for an example, or what the fuck is that fat ass nigga name? Thomason with those breasts. What's that nigga name, bro? Jason Whitlock. You know what I mean? Like, or a Kendrick Perkins. When they don't even try to come in and be themselves. They come in and just try to say anything that's contrary to what a bunch of people are saying. Get a headline and be like, look, I'm bringing in numbers. People are disagreeing with me. You guys should pay me more. Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless, they gave us a lot of moments, but they did a good amount of damage to sports commentary.
Yourself in the face with a pie, sure, people will probably stop what they're doing to point and laugh and maybe even tell their friends about what they just saw. But that doesn't mean they respect you. They're not gonna go home and sign up for Clown Plus. It's not that they value your opinion, it's that they like when you do something dumb. So while this show was successful in what it set out to do, which was to get more people paying attention to the channel during a time where cord cutting was taking a lot of eyeballs away from cable TV, ultimately, I think this came at a detriment to the ESPN brand. The more that they've leaned into this, the more this is what people picture when they think of ESPN.
It has created an acidic, corrosive cruelty in how it is that we talk about athletes.
Here's the format of First Take. You had the host, 2 rotating analysts, and of course, Mr. ESPN himself, Stephen A. Smith. The host will ask a question, one that's kind of abstract.
Pat McAfee has been refreshing to sports media. I absolutely fucking agree, because a lot of times Pat McAfee, they try to take a positive approach while being entertaining. But I kind of want to go back to what Dan Libertard, if I'm not mispronounced his name, just said.
An acidic, corrosive cruelty in how it is that we talk about athletes.
Here's the format.
I want y'all to notice something, because a lot of y'all do not know. You've been brainwashed by ESPN by your normal conversations around sports. Have y'all ever noticed that most of the time we never slander nobody from the 90s? Whenever we bring it up, the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, brand of basketball, we big up, man, Dr. J was this guy. Man, Jordan was that good. Larry Bird was that good. They changed the NBA. They saved it. What was this? All of that. But all of a sudden, when it's time for today's game, LeBron's not clutch. James Harden doesn't play any defense. I can't think of any other narratives right now, but it's plenty of them that go around. A lot of that is shaped by ESPN. They shit on the current product of what we're currently watching. We don't celebrate none of it for the most part. It's immediately, let's go to hate. Westbrook averaging a triple-double. Yeah, but he's starting to stat chase a little bit. I mean, the triple-double is nice. But I seen Steven Adams get up out of the way. And, bro, ESPN is shaping niggas' conversations, and they don't know it. They purposely rage baiting niggas left and right. Left and right, gang. And then niggas take those conversations and remix later while championing something that don't change. The 90s, we can't change what happened in the 90s anymore. The 90s has already happened. Jordan already hit that double clutch layup with his tongue out. It's over. It's not coming back. But what we can appreciate is Anthony Edwards just dropped 35 last night. How much he gonna drop tomorrow? I'm not saying you gotta glaze the current product, but you can appreciate what you're currently watching. Nigga said 14. You can appreciate what you're currently watching. Right now, and I'm finna play the video because I feel like I'm yapping, but in sports media, niggas are quick to criticize if somebody scored 35 one night because they didn't like how they scored 35, instead of being like, damn, that nigga really fried them niggas.
At a First Take. You had the host, 2 rotating analysts, and of course, Mr. ESPN himself, Stephen A. Smith. The host will ask a question, one that's kind of abstract and completely subjective. Something like, is this team a dynasty? Who's the most dominant player? What's LeBron's favorite movie? And the 2 analysts go back and forth. Things get a little heated, but more of a simmer than an outright boil. All the while, Stephen A. looks on from his comically large LED screen, watching, judging, waiting to come in and disagree with these people literally no matter what.
He's an all-time great. He's an all-time great. You are now.
And you know what? It can be pretty entertaining for about 10 minutes, and then you just get tired of it. Because, again, they're not really talking about anything.
Because
there's only so many heated disagreements about sports you can have every single day. But since that's the format of the show, usually what they're arguing about doesn't even make sense. I turned on a random episode a couple weeks ago, and this happened immediately. They're talking about a head coach that got hired, and Steven's arguing about how they can't trust him because he's had a lot of different jobs.
6 different jobs in 6 years. 6 different jobs in 6 years.
And it's like, yeah, he was getting different
He just looking for something to argue. Clint Kubiak, one of the hottest coordinators in football right now. He was that last year as well. We've been hearing Clint Kubiak's name in football discussions for a while. Obviously, one of the reasons because of his last name. But on top of that, what he just fucking did. And now you just looking for you trying to find any negative towards him.
Jobs because they were all promotions. He was working his way up the career ladder and now he's at the top. If you watch,
when you actually listen to Stephen A. Smith, he's not good at sports journalism. Yeah, but it's because at this moment, at this point of his career, it doesn't pay his bills to be good at sports journalism. It pays his bills to be entertaining. It pays his bills to bring in engagement.
Sports, what he's saying here doesn't make any sense, but the other people have to just sit there and listen to him yell about it because that's what the show is.
6 different jobs in 6 years?
Here's another one where they're getting all worked up over something LeBron James said in an interview.
Right.
Bravo.
Who the hell don't know that all? Come on, man.
And not even because he was wrong, but just because it was obvious.
Who don't know that?
Who cares? There were 10 basketball games on that night, and the second segment of the show was about something a guy said on a podcast. This format has spread like a plague throughout ESPN, and by extension, all...
Man, one of the worst things about this shit as well, though, just real quick, that basketball discourse is way worse than the NFL discourse because if a player goes off on any given night, a lot of the times in the NFL, they might talk about it, depending on the team. But let's say, for example, Arizona tight end McBride goes off. Arizona's not a good team. McBride has a great game. They may talk about it. But in basketball, if LaMelo and them not a good example because they're on a historic run on their franchise. But let's say, for example, if LaMelo and them not having a great season again. LaMelo comes out, drop 50. Random night. They're not going to talk about that in a good light. Let's talk about one of the teams in the big markets and find anything negative towards them because we know they got a lot of fans and it'll bring us in a lot of good views. They don't really cover the sport. You're not being an analyst. You're just trying to find anything to raise bait. That's why they keep talking about the Cowboys every fucking Sunday. I know I just went back to the NFL. But that's why they talk about the Cowboys every Sunday. That's why anybody that keeps trying to deny the Cowboys' impact, just turn on ESPN. They bring up the Cowboys for a reason. They bring in numbers.
Of sports media.
Hey, LeBron. Ben Simmons is here. We're all good.
In pursuit of viral clips and controversial headlines, more and more shows bring on a guest whose sole job is to stoke the flames.
You must be crazy.
As always.
Please, you just learned in sports.
To be the verbal punching bag for the rest of the cast to make funny faces at in hopes of becoming a gif.
He's there to hear the crazy conclusion that his partner has come to and actually be the everyman with a laugh.
They kick Max ass off.
You are crazy. So there's a lot of pressure on his partner to come up with a counterintuitive conclusion about everything.
And sports media as a whole has become increasingly cannibalistic. Less often is anyone actually talking about the sport. They're talking about something someone said about the sport.
Max was the star. Listen, whenever Max Kellerman is covering the sport of boxing, I know we just talking about him in general on First Take. Max Kellerman is good at what he fucking does. And when he's one of my favorite boxing commentators. When he's talking about boxing, I'm in that motherfucker, bro. What? He'll break down a match, everything. He's really good. Now, when he started talking about sports in general, at first it's a little shaky. But then he got his foot and he got his way. And then Stephen A. realized, oh, this guy's not playing the game where I wanted him to play it. And he got him up out of there. Joe Tessitore is gas at boxing. What? Yo, Joe Tessitore tough, nigga. But we're going to talk about Max right now, though. But Max didn't play the game the way that Stephen A. Smith wanted him to play it, and that's why he's no longer there.
I said that rant about LeBron's random quote was the second segment of that episode. The fourth segment of that episode was something that Kendrick Perkins said on a different show. They brought on Kendrick Perkins to react to something that he said.
Do you agree or disagree with Parton?
No.
ESPN seems to be aware of the disease for which they willingly became patient zero.
Kyler maybe a
but
ram?
At the same time, they kind of
I like
act
the
like
move.
they had nothing to do with
That's a
it. Stephen A.
unique move.
Smith is concerned with the direction of sports media. Gee,
What?
I wonder who's responsible for that.
We're all trying to find the guy who did this and give him a spanking.
It's obviously this guy, right?
Yes.
Sorry, if it seems like I'm focusing too much on just one guy here, I agree. The reason it's impossible to have this conversation without focusing so heavily on Stephen A. is because at this point, he is
You going to the Vikings
ESPN.
facility
He
tomorrow?
gets paid
Okay.
over
I like
$20 million a year. They've laid off so many talented people just so they could use that money to put one guy in as many of their shows as possible. And with that comes more pressure on Stephen to carry the network on his shoulders. And that's a lot of responsibility. Stephen A. is a very entertaining guy.
Sandy, nah.
Yes, he
With
is.
the cup is your body, no. Squidward, too skinny. Gary, you look limited.
But one person is not enough to carry an entire sports network. To be an expert at anything, you have to be kind of a sicko about it. It has to be your number one.
Yeah, the way he said Squidward, nigga. I know from the South. I got my. I might sound a little country saying it, but who the fuck is Squidward? Who the fuck is that?
Passion. Kenny Beecham is one of my favorite NBA analysts.
Shout out to
because he
Kenny, man.
clearly
What?
Just loves basketball. He's a
Listen,
good-
you want some good basketball channels? Where they not trying to be extra fucking negative every fucking time. Go listen to Kenny. Also, go listen to Low, Legend of Winning. I promise. Low got some. Low got a dope ass basketball channel. Where a lot of people, they just want to be like, they want to go with the easy negative narratives, but he actually watches the game and he'll tell you, no, this is why you shouldn't think like that, yada, yada, yada. And you don't have to agree with him, but you can tell, okay, this is a guy that he's not just trying to run with the negative, with the easy negative narratives. Kenny, like he said, you can legitimately tell, bro, just like basketball. And you hear him nerd out about X, Y, and Z. That's the dope shit. Dom is what? Yo, Dom is my fucking guy. Yo, go watch Dom as well. Like, these are guys that they're not trying to run with the negative shit. You can talk about what's currently going on, be positive, and be entertaining. Don't nobody want nobody that's extra acting like everything that we watching is the greatest thing ever. That's corny. But I also think it's equally corny just to act like everything we currently seeing is bad. Dom 2K.
Enthusiasm is contagious. I could listen to him talk about any team and feel more knowledgeable afterwards. Same reason I think Mina Kimes is great
As long as
on
you throw a
NFL
Dom
Live,
Ray, that's
because
my
she's
dog, man.
clearly
I really fuck with
obsessed
Dom, bro.
football. And that's what you need to be when your job is to talk about it. Stephen A. Smith is on ESPN multiple times a day. He has a 2-hour daily radio show. He has a political podcast, a YouTube channel, and he's now going on this press tour to float out the idea of a...
Say, I never talk politics. I think politics is really annoying. There's no nuance in politics. People act like if you vote for X, Y, and Z, we can't talk to you. I don't give a fuck about that. Stephen A. Smith, get your weak ass off my ballots. I don't give a fuck what's going on. I don't want you to be on no ballot. Don't take up a Republican ballot. Don't take up a Democratic ballot. We don't want to see you at all. Quit talking about politics, honestly, in my face. Get away from me.
2028 presidential run.
Trump is coming.
I'm gonna come.
He obviously works very
What the
hard,
fuck?
and I'm never going to tell someone that they should do less. But objectively speaking, I don't think he's sitting down to watch the Hornets play the Suns. He's not getting home after a long day of work and tuning in to Raptors Jazz. There are a million games on every night, and there aren't enough hours in the day. The network should have a lot of people that each specialize in one thing, but they'd rather have a couple of people try to specialize in everything. And it's just not possible. This is why he gets stuff wrong all the time. He's referenced how important certain players are who aren't even on the team anymore. He accidentally gave condolences to somebody who isn't dead.
Mr. 40 Minutes of Hell himself, the late, great Nolan Richardson, God rest his soul. But in the same breath, I am fully aware that Nolan Richardson is alive, okay?
Are you? What the fuck?
Trust me, I apologize for that. I don't know why I said God rest his soul. I know he's alive. I've always known it.
I know he's alive.
What the hell?
I've always known he's alive. You know what? It's live TV. People make mistakes. The thing that frustrated me the most was last summer during one of the most entertaining...
The same Nolan Richardson that coaches Tennessee State? What?
Frustrated me the most was last summer during one of the most entertaining
and
improbable playoff runs I've ever seen a team go on. That 2025 Pacers team is the reason I love sports. They had so many unbelievable comebacks.
Hey, I'm liking your video. Thank you. That last year Pacers team is what sports is about, nigga. Every year, it's March now. Every year, we ask on March Madness, who's the Cinderella story? In life, honestly, it's not even just sports. In life, though, we be like, yo, we root for the underdog. The Pacers are not a team you think is going to go on a hell of a run. They gave us some of the best series last year. And then niggas start hating, I don't want to watch Indiana versus Oklahoma. Nigga, we not watching the cities. We watching the teams. Y'all niggas weird.
And insane game-winning shots, unsung heroes coming up big in clutch moments. I was glued to my television for every one of their games, and I'm not even a Pacers fan. If you love basketball, you loved watching that team. And Stephen A. Smith was in the stands. Game 4, the NBA Finals, playing solitaire on his phone. I feel like if you're getting paid $20 million a year to talk about basketball, the least you
fuck
can
the Pacers. Oh, I know why you say fuck the Pacers, Knicks fan.
Is watch basketball. And if you're going to play something on your phone, there's got to be a better game than solitaire. That shit's boring as hell. You know they got Minecraft on here, right? No, it was already...
Hey, hold on now. Solitaire hold you down when you're on the flight and you don't want to pay that $8 for that Wi-Fi. Don't ask me how I know. It'll hold you down. Hey, it'll hold you down now. I don't want to pay for that Wi-Fi. How would I know? I'm saying, matter of fact, I don't hypothetically want to pay for that Wi-Fi. You know me, a nigga like me, that's $8. I pay $8. But I could see how somebody could pay that.
Bad look for ESPN's highest paid analyst to not be paying attention to the thing he's paid to analyze. But then he lied about it. He said it was during a timeout when it clearly wasn't.
Lied.
Then he doubled down and got defensive.
And I decided to play a little solitaire, which, by the way, I always do. And I mean always. For those out there who don't like it, kiss my ass.
And then he parlayed the whole thing
into an
this
ad.
Unbelievably bad AI slop commercial.
You letting solitaire cash distract you during the game?
Yeah, man, you got it all wrong. The game is trying to distract me from solitaire.
For some bullshit pay-to-win solitaire gambling app that has been on the receiving end of lawsuits for rigging their game. Jesus Christ, man. I mean, compared to this, the whole being on your phone at a game thing wasn't even that big of a deal. This would be like trying to get out of paying for a parking ticket by setting your car on fire. Problem solved, I guess. Funny joke, man. Sorry, I have to do an ad now. If you've ever traveled internationally, you know there's a lot of...
Man, I shout out to you for getting your bag, man. Chat, y'all go check what they talk about.
Some amount of decline for watching this video. With the way that media has so drastically changed the past couple decades, some amount of decline for ESPN was inevitable. It's much harder now for the wide-reaching, generalized sports show to succeed when we all tend to live in our own hyper-specific content bubbles. And they're too expensive of an operation to not just talk about whatever attracts the largest possible audience. So they talk about the Lakers and the Knicks and the Cowboys and LeBron.
So, boom, let me go back to this, though. So this is a hockey segment versus obviously the Knicks. The hockey segment is going to just get less than what the Knicks, because basketball is like at this current moment the second biggest sport in America. Maybe they might be losing to the NBA, to the MLB a little bit, but as well one of the reasons about this though, because it's a game-winning shot. One of the reasons why it's like this is ESPN plays a factor into this as well. You guys do not cover the sport as much, and you do not invite new fans into that world and why they should care. Like, y'all quickly run into the easy thing and not cover something that's less popular, but it's interesting. Y'all don't give the fans a new reason to give a fuck.
Possible audience. So they talk about the Lakers and the Knicks and the Cowboys and LeBron James on a 24/7 loop. For niche sports content, which is what most people tend to want, there's so many better sources. If I want to hear someone do in-depth analysis of the entire NBA, I'll listen to Zach Lowe. If I want to see like real old school investigative sports journalism, I can watch Pablo Torre. If I want to hear someone in absolute shambles after the Patriots lose a big game.
Oh, no, I ain't gonna lie. This guy got some pretty shit-ass takes, bro. Shout out to him. I think he's the reason why we have 30 for 30. Bill Simmons, the way that you have started to move and act around sports, I don't know. He turned into a goddamn hater for some reason now. He be on some weird shit.
I'll listen to Bill Simmons.
Nipplegate and Poopgate.
And funny enough, you know what those three people have in common? They all used to work for ESPN. Bill Simmons was probably the most consequential firing by ESPN. Not only has he gone on to create a podcast network that is now worth hundreds of millions of dollars and is a direct rival to ESPN Media, but the reason Bill was fired in the first place changed the way a lot of people viewed
Bill
ESPN.
Simmons, John
The
Wall
main reason Bill was
I remember what he
suspended
said.
was that he would too often criticize Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL. Now, if you followed football, you'll know he's not exactly a beloved figure. He gets a standing ovation of boos every year at the draft.
I didn't know that's why they fired him.
You guys are booing the Cowboys.
The last big thing that Bill criticized him for was the way he handled the Ray Rice situation in 2014. Now, to summarize, Ray Rice gets arrested in February for a domestic violence.
They were wrong by how they. I didn't know that's why Bill Simmons was actually fired. I never looked into it. That's nuts. The NFL fucked that up. Like, even though Ray Rice to this day is with his wife, they've gotten over that. I don't want to talk about nobody else's marriage. That's for them and their family to talk about and discuss. But if you're the NFL commissioner, you cannot let a guy punch a woman on camera and then get a 2-game suspension. I don't know what the proper sentence is. I can tell you what's not it. That ain't it. Because it makes it seem like your league is cool with it. They fucked that up. I don't know. I don't think it was 2 games. It might have been 3 or something. But it was a very slap on the wrist sentence. Some things what you gotta do is we gotta like nip this in the bud. Like, I'm not trying to kick you out of the league all the way, but like, no, this gotta be lengthy. Bro, you're tripping. You not only represent yourself, and you should be ashamed of yourself for how you move, but you represent the NFL. And there's multiple kids that are going to come and try to get in this league and think that what you're doing might not be that bad because we said it's not that bad. They fucked that up, and they fired Pablo before that.
Violence incident, which the team and the league spend the next couple months trying to downplay. He's really sorry. They're going to couples counseling. It's not a big deal. Please stop talking about this. Well, people didn't stop talking about this and the terrible precedent that was setting. For comparison, this was about a decade after Ricky Williams, one of my favorite athletes of all time.
Oh my God! Y'all thank you so much. You know what? Man, I'm about to like your video again, nigga. This is a great video. After multiple athletes, y'all derailed their career because they was smoking weed. One of the best receiver seasons I've seen, Josh Gordon, popped out of nowhere, Cleveland Browns, automatically on the scene, elite receiver. Now his career fried because he was smoking weed. You suspend him 1 year, suspend him another year. But then a guy's on camera punching a woman, and y'all give him X, Y, and Z games. It makes no sense.
Got suspended for an entire season for smoking weed. Gotta crack down on the guy trying to manage his pain from...
Nigga, Justin Blackmon. Jaguar fans, a lot of the NFL forgot about him. Justin Blackmon was a pretty fucking good receiver. Well, he started off pretty promising. Pretty promising. He wouldn't stop smoking weed. They got him up out of there. Like, yo, put that weed down, nigga. But then you gave a player somewhat of a small sentence and drinking. Oh, he was on that liquor too? Whatever though. But when you look at the long story short, I don't want to go case by case. that Ray Rice sentence didn't make sense once you start to look at how they treat other players.
From getting
for certain
tackled 500 times a year. But when a guy beats up his fiance, zero discipline whatsoever. They make excuses, they minimize the severity of it because they're worried if it becomes too big of a story, then it reflects poorly on the NFL. So then they ignored it, which ironically caused it to become a bigger story and look even worse for the NFL. Masterful gambit, sir. Eventually, after about 5 months of public backlash, Roger Goodell finally succumbs to the pressure and he comes out and he's like, all right, we thought about it and you guys are right. We will be suspending Ray Rice for 2 games. Somehow.
Tyreek Evans got banned. What? We got to know. We talking about 2 different leagues right now. His point is only about how the NFL handled the Ray Rice thing. And let me try to put it like this. His point is the NFL handled the Ray Rice thing wrong. But then y'all handled it especially wrong once we look back at how you treated this player for weed, how you treated this player for liquor, how you treated this player for that. Those are 2 different leagues.
Did you smoke throughout your whole career?
For the most part, yeah.
You ever play a game like faded?
Heck yeah. Well, yeah, you can only be so faded though, because like how it would work was like there were some games like towards the end of my career. I didn't even do it towards the end of my career because I was at this point where I was like, man, I don't know how the hell I'm gonna get through this game today. Lord, like help me guide my feet, like 'cause I don't know how I'm gonna get through this game. And I just be like, you know what? Bump it. I'm gonna spark this thing. So like for the games, like home games.
I think for me, I've already known that one of the reasons why Calvin Johnson retired a little early is because he liked to smoke, and he needed to smoke a little bit to help him with X, Y, and Z things that he had on the field, and the league just wasn't for this. So he was like, he gonna walk away from the game.
Times I'll be like, man, I'll be on the way to that stadium. I was like, man, I don't know how I'm gonna make it today.
Right.
I probably did it a handful of times throughout my career.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, more times than not, I had a good game too.
Really?
That nigga was frying your favorite receiver high as hell.
This was
I'm
not
your favorite DBs high as hell.
Enough to end the backlash. In fact, it only brought it on harder. Again, 16 games for smoking a joint, 2 games for knocking your girlfriend unconscious. The league has now made it clear that they believe domestic violence is 1/8 as bad as getting high. For the following month, Goodell and the NFL continue to be under fire until they came out and revised the suspension. They moved it up to 6 games, they introduced a harsher domestic violence policy, and they apologized for being so lenient. But that still wasn't the end of the story, because then, a week later, TMZ released the footage of the incident, and
oh, I forgot the order. That's what it... Boom, you hear the story. He get 2 games, then the video come out. Oh,
it was awful. The idea that his employer would have watched this and taken Ray Rice's side and then go on to downplay it just because he's good at football is bad. This kind of leniency towards athletes, where the better they are at the sport they play, the more they're allowed to get away with off the field, is one of the biggest stains on a lot of these leagues, and Roger Goodell handled this about as poorly as he could have. He tried to say that the NFL had never seen the footage, and of course they would have reacted more appropriately if they had, but nobody believed him. The police involved in the case came out and confirmed they had sent them the footage, and they...
Sorry, just lying, boy.
We're told that it was received and watched. The NFL lied about this. Roger
Like,
Goodell
why did you
lied
just
about this.
bold-faced lie like that?
I'm just saying it. He is lying.
Bill Simmons can he himself be kind of an oaf, but he was perfectly justified in criticizing how the situation was handled. But ESPN didn't see it that way. I mean, they're a $20 billion operation that only has the revenue and power that they have because they're in bed with all of these major sports leagues. They have to suck up to the NFL because they can't risk losing the rights to Monday Night Football and all of the money that comes with it. So they suspended Bill for 3 weeks, and a couple months later chose not to renew his contract. Essentially, he crossed the line too many times.
I never
Here at
knew
ESPN,
this.
You can disparage individual athletes all you want. You can sit across from them, look them dead in the eyes, and call them soft. But as soon as you criticize the CEO of football, go ahead and pack your bags, asshole.
Do you regret calling Goodell a liar? No, because he lied.
This felt like the final stage of their now complete transformation from the once fun, casual, independent news channel to, I know it sounds hyperbolic, but like state-sponsored media, more beholden to their corporate overlords than to journalistic integrity. I mean, if you can't share your real opinion about sports on the Sports Opinion Network, then what the hell are we doing here? So whether it's the NFL, which they earn billions of dollars from, the NBA, which they earn billions of dollars from, or DraftKings, which they now have an exclusive partnership with, ESPN is kind of forced to spread positive propaganda about all of these companies. Last year, there was this crazy scandal where a couple different NBA players and a coach were arrested for hinting to friends that they should bet the
Oh my
under on
God.
them.
I know what I think I know where he's finna go with this. This is the crazy shit. So I don't have a problem with you right now. Well, I'm pointing at. You're doing parlays. You're grown, you do your thing. Now, my problem is these sports networks that want to act like they're very Mr. Morale over here, Mr. Morale over there. You act like you got all these morals. They're actively promoting gambling when they know that they have some children watching them, right? Then, because y'all want to act like y'all got all these morals, right? Boom. ESPN, they was covering a big gambling segment or a big gambling, what the fuck is that? A whole lot of big gambling scheme was in the NBA while actively promoting their gambling website. It was going around the bottom at a ticker. Now, somebody in the back was like, oh shit, scandal, thank you. Yo, this don't look good. So in the middle of it, they hit it. It was the nuttiest shit ever.
And then they'd go out there and either play like shit or fake an injury so they could end the game early. And while attempting to cover this story and be like, man, how could something like this happen when all we've done is promote the shit out of it? The producers must have noticed how fucking insane it looks
ESPN
to have
bet.
the
Look at
betting
it.
lines on screen, so they very subtly took the entire...
Let me get out the way. Look what they're doing.
Promote the shit out of it. The producers...
So... they bring up that Terry Rozier and shout out to my dog, Mob Ties Billups was arrested as a part of a gambling investigation while they're actively promoting it. If you download ESPN bets, we'll get that shit out there. When you bet $10, you get 100. That's insane.
Must have noticed how fucking insane it looked to have the betting lines on screen, so they very subtly took the entire ticker off mid-segment.
You hear a lot about legal sports gambling on this show. The Bussin' Boys, obviously sports gambling is a huge part of what you do.
Obviously, it's huge for the Bussin' Boys. We all know that.
Who the
No
fuck
matter
is
how
that?
you feel about the
Did they have professional gamblers on the stage?
normalization of sports gambling, it's become pretty impossible for ESPN to cover any of the corporations they're now intrinsically tied to in an objective way. You cannot be a separate, unbiased entity when you're a vital part of the machine.
I'm Stephen A, baby.
Right now, the commissioner of the NBA is under fire for reportedly prioritizing the interest of betting apps over the integrity of the sport he oversees. In 10 years, they never gave a shit about tanking, but now that FanDuel's losing money when a player sits out a game, we're suddenly holding emergency meetings to fix this ASAP. Seems like kind of a big problem, but you're not...
Bro, we knew tanking was a problem when the Sixers was trusting the process for 4 to 5 fucking years in a row. Y'all did not care at all. Didn't try to fix it at all. But the moment that sports betting has become normalized, they was like, oh, we got to do something. I don't like what they're doing in Utah, what they're doing in Washington. It's corny.
Going to hear ESPN criticize that. In fact, they're openly sympathetic.
What's one of the major things when it comes to sports?
Oh, I'm so good. This is a great video.
It's gambling.
Mm-hmm. I thought I don't want to act like, because everybody watch ESPN. I randomly had my TV on when they brought this up. I said, are you fucking serious?
It's one of the major things when it comes to sports now.
Betting.
It's gambling. It's gambling. And so you got to be careful when you're trying to throw games.
They're doing the exact same thing. They're prioritizing the interests of DraftKings over the integrity of the industry they once pioneered. This is why they've gotten rid of most of their journalists, because the job of a good journalist is to go uncover a story, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it causes someone to lose profits. ESPN has no interest in that. If the only thing that matters to them is money, then they have no incentive to go ruffling feathers. They're not going to try to unearth all the corrupt business practices being done by the leagues that butter their bread, because then they'd have to eat dry bread. Probably the biggest NBA scandal from the past few years was that Steve Ballmer, the owner of the Los Angeles Clippers and also the 10th richest human being on earth, was accused of using an environmentally conscious digital bank, whatever those words mean, to discreetly funnel $28 million to one of his players. Huge story, massive ramifications for the league. And after everything we've talked about, who do you think broke this story? Do you think it was the network whose paychecks are indirectly written by the man at the center of it? Of course not. It was an independent journalist who used to work at ESPN. Pablo Torre spent 7 months uncovering thousands of documents that followed the flow of money and ultimately finding out that Kawhi Leonard was paid a $28 million endorsement deal to do nothing. An endorsement deal with an organization that has received giant sums of money from Clippers owner Steve Ballmer in the past. There's a lot to this story. It's still an ongoing investigation and more evidence keeps getting revealed. But to be clear, these aren't just rumors. It's not, oh, I heard from a guy who said this. No, there's a...
Oh, no, he got receipts. Pablo got receipts. I'm not going to lie. That Kawhi shit looks very, very, very fucking real.
Paper trail of legitimate signed documents. So it's kind of crazy to see the way ESPN talks about this almost begrudgingly. They seem to want to minimize Pablo whenever they can by calling him a podcaster. And the first thing they did when these accusations went out was host Steve Ballmer on one of their shows.
Literally, I had...
What kind of fucking PR shit? Yo, I did not know they did this, nigga. What?
No control over the company. I had no control over this company. I had no control. And that's okay. Blah, 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 blah.
Tossed out a couple softball questions and really just gave them unlimited runway to defend themselves.
So why do you...
They probably didn't ask no hardball journalistic questions. So what do you mean you got no control over this company? Do you have a bad... In your normal businesses, do you not show good leadership to know what's going on around you? They probably, so how do you feel bad that this happened? They probably asked this nigga the most soft questions ever.
I think they gave him that much money.
I don't know anything about the court documents on this. I haven't seen them and I don't know.
If you're a great businessman, one of the richest men in America, one of the richest men in the world, how are you running something like this? One of the biggest scams in NBA history and you don't know. Is that a reflection upon you? Should we start looking at your other businesses as well? They don't ask no questions like that.
I don't know how much money they gave. I don't know why they did what they did. I don't know what those deals should look like. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know what the deal is. I'm not trying to be, I don't know. I really don't know.
And just so we're clear, you never directed anyone from Aspiration to do an endorsement deal with Kawhi Leonard?
No.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks.
He even manages to imply that somehow he's the victim here.
How would I be able, look, they conned me.
Then, of course, that week, the ultimate company man, Stephen A. Smith, jumps at the chance to defend Ballmer while trying to move all of the blame onto Kawhi.
Well, first of all, props to Steve Ballmer for showing up and doing the interview. I'm going to always give Steve Ballmer the benefit of the doubt. I think that he's a treasure for the NBA, a treasure to the league. I'm certainly going to give this man the benefit of the doubt because he's done a lot for the league and he deserves the benefit of the doubt. But he deserves the benefit of the doubt. And I think that he deserves the benefit of the doubt. The biggest focal point for all
Man, you don't even give players the benefit of the doubt day in and day out when they had a bad basketball night. Man, you don't know if my bitch been arguing with me all night. You don't know if I got the flu. I have a bad night in Minnesota, and all of a sudden now I can't be top 10. But this nigga's scamming for $27 million. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. What? What kind of shit?
this should be Kawhi Leonard.
That's what made me pause. Not because of Steve Ballmer, not because of the Clippers, because of him.
Look at the difference between how he talks about each of them.
Kawhi Leonard blackmailed the Los Angeles Clippers. I spoke to Steve Ballmer.
Oh my God!
Pretty hurt.
That's the Kawhi Leonard I know. Doing nothing and getting paid for it.
So let's protect the billionaires and their sympathetic figures. But the millionaire guy, that motherfucker's a thief! What the fuck? Oh my God, this is insane. I've never seen this. Holy shit.
He's one of the owners that is beloved by a lot of people.
He is the worst superstar I have ever seen.
I know a lot of people within the Clippers organization. I think they're first class. I got a lot of love
What
for them. I got a
the
lot of
fuck?
He should give lessons on the perks that he has received.
And Steve Ballmer is one of my favorite owners in the league. I just think that he's a good man.
And this guy's gonna sit and try to be on your ballot because he wants to get your vote so he can be your president. He's protecting billionaires already. Sports not even that serious. Imagine what he gonna do when all them niggas start to lobby him and throw money in his pocket. Allegedly what he might do. Are you fucking crazy? This is nasty. Look how he talking about Kawhi versus the owner. When you're the owner, you're supposed to do better.
They're first class. I got a lot of love for them. I got a lot of personal relationships.
He should give lessons on the perks that he has received.
Yo, Gay! King Nigga with a big goddamn 10! Get the subs, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the love, man. Please do me a favor. Spam niggas in the chat. I really appreciate you. Hey, Rissa, thank you, bro. Thank you so much. This is crazy. What a video.
And Steve Ballmer is one of my favorite owners in the league. I just think that he's a good man.
And from what I saw, this was how a lot of people at ESPN handled this story. They either seemed completely dismissive of it or they just like stammered through a video like they're being held at gunpoint.
You know, as far as with this, which is being reported.
A journalist like me, if I found that out, I might say, hey, you owe me a favor, but I'm not reporting that you got upwards of $28 million.
Are we not going to do our jobs?
For a no-show. I'm not trying to get on Kawhi's bad side. I'm not trying to get on Steve Ballmer's bad side.
I mean, Steve Ballmer, he's the richest owner in the NBA.
A treasure to the league.
So he gets the benefit of the doubt. If Adam Silver says he didn't know about this either, then we just have to take his word for it. I mean, the slogan of this company was literally do well, do good. And you're saying that they did bad? That's impossible. Look, I know that people don't like when politics get mixed into sports. It's ironically one of the biggest criticisms people have about ESPN. But a story like this is so much bigger than basketball. It's about someone with—
That's not politics. Like, that's you uncovering. We have a salary cap in basketball for a reason. That's you uncovering someone's cheating. They're going beyond the system of what we put in place. They're cheating.
Power and money and influence, abusing
Yes,
those
it
things
is,
to
Trey.
circumvent the rules. Because
I don't
they
know.
think
I don't
they should
understand
be
how.
allowed to act without consequences. It's not like that's something that's only happening in sports. It is vital that in every area of life, news outlets do not merely become extensions of the system they're supposed to report on, and that they can continue to criticize and investigate independently. Without that, no one will ever be held accountable for anything. You'll just be waiting on the system to punish itself.
Politics is not just
That's
social
not going to
topics.
happen.
He's
Okay.
a treasure for the NBA.
I get you. I understand.
Now, at this point, you might be asking yourself, if people don't like ESPN anymore, and a lot of them don't even watch it, how are they still making so much goddamn money? And that's an excellent question. ESPN has always been extraordinarily profitable. Back when like half the country had cable, they were by far the single most expensive channel. A lot of the revenue was subsidized by people who didn't even watch them. If you were paying for cable, that money was going to them either way. Every once in a while, a cable provider would come in and say, guys, you can't keep raising your prices. We're putting our foot down. And ESPN would be like, okay, then we're taking our shit off the air. And then people would be pissed off that they couldn't watch SportsCenter. They'd call Bright House to complain. And eventually they'd back down and just give ESPN whatever they want. And in turn, cable just kept getting more expensive for everybody. Eventually, though, the world started to change. It was becoming almost impossible to justify spending $150 a month to watch television when you can watch Netflix for like 10 or YouTube for free. As a result, over the past 15 years, ESPN has lost 30 million subscribers. So how do they combat that? Simple. Layoffs and price increases. Worse product, but also more expensive. Today, if you want to circumvent cable altogether and just get these channels straight from the source, you can subscribe directly to ESPN for $30 a month. This business model doesn't seem sustainable, and yet they sustain it. They still have just enough of a chokehold on just enough customers that, for now at least, they can continue to chug along.
Y'all say who paying it? Bro, ESPN is backed by Disney. So they got their Disney money. And what Disney's going to do is they're going to protect their asset. So each time, if y'all start to notice, ESPN start to maneuver and they start to sign deals where you can't avoid us. Oh, you like UFC? Guess what? You got to do this. Oh, you like HBCU football? Guess what? You got to do this. You got to join our network. Oh, you like wrestling now? You got to do this. You know what I mean? So like, those are the people who are going to pay that. While, okay, boom, UFC, that was good. Now they're going over to Paramount or whatever. Hey, my WWE fans, come over here. Disney don't play about making money. They don't play about their IPs, and they don't play about making money. So there's plenty of people playing those. Illegally stream? Well, listen, I understand some of y'all going to illegally stream. There's a good amount of people that are really just like me. I don't want to do an illegal stream. It's annoying. I don't got time for all those fucking ads. I don't want to go onto my computer. I don't want to go through a backdoor channel. Here's an example. I don't want to go through a backdoor channel of it where instead of like just sitting on my couch, pressing the ESPN button and turning on the game, I don't want to go to my couch, press the button, go to the web browser, and then go to this game. If I go through ESPN, it's a 2-step process. If I do something else, it's a 4-step process. There's only 2 additional steps. It might not be that much, but I think y'all are severely underestimating how many people don't want to do those additional 2 steps. It's millions. And guess what? You can make billions off millions.
Maybe they'll never actually die. Maybe their insatiable greed will never end up eating itself. But if you want a direct example of how differently people view ESPN now than they did 10 and 20 years ago, just look at their extremely tone-deaf plea to YouTube TV subscribers from last October. This was the exact same play they've been running their entire existence. They wanted more money from a TV provider, the provider stood its ground, and so they tried to pressure them into giving into their demands. But this time, people saw right through it. You guys figure it out. In the past, people would almost
one of the fakest things ever. I'm glad that me as a now that I'm grown, I can see through. Hey, when I'm watching a game, don't you bring your bullshit that y'all negotiating behind the scenes to me as a viewer. Be like, hey, listen, bro, I know you enjoying the game, but right now, Comcast not really trying to give us no extra money. What we need you to do is call Comcast and tell them, hey, I want to watch the game next week. Go ahead and sign this petition real quick and tell them #save ESPN. No, you're being greedy. Comcast is being greedy too, and you trying to make me be like, oh, Comcast is the bad guy. Both of y'all niggas on some fuck shit. Y'all figure it out. I'm trying to watch and see if Alabama don't score against Auburn. Leave me alone. Be the most nuttiest shit ever. They be like, yo, YouTube TV ain't trying to give us no money.
Please take the side of the channel they enjoyed over the side of like Spectrum, the cable provider they want to shoot with a gun. So how telling is it that this is almost completely flipped? Sports fans think more highly of YouTube TV, an $83 a month subscription service owned by Google, than they do the once beloved worldwide leader in sports. And maybe this wouldn't be the case if they hadn't spent the past decade dumbing down their content, firing all their journalists, pushing out hot takes instead of real meaningful analysis, all while squeezing the remaining customers for every dollar they can. Sure, it may still be working for now, but the clock's ticking, Mr. Mouse. And in about 35 months, President A. Smith will be taking his rightful place in the Oval Office, at which point you'll have no choice but to finally upload every single episode of Cheap Seats to ESPN Plus. Something you should have done years ago. Of course, there's no way to know exactly what'll happen.
What
Thanks for watching.
Steve Ballmer's coming.
Hey, I'm gonna be honest. This was a very, very great fucking video, bro. I'm glad y'all recommended this. Drew Gooden. I've never watched one of your videos before, but
phone call like ring, 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 hello, ring, 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 hello, ring, 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 hello, ring, 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 hello, ring, 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 hello.